The global financial architecture is cracking, and the epicenter is not Wall Street or London. It's Baghdad. What if I told you that a single, technical decision made by the Central Bank of Iraq this week has set in motion a chain of events that will permanently alter the balance of power in the global Forex market? This isn't a prediction. It's a live unfolding reality. The activation of Iraq's new dual-rate currency contract framework, backed by a silent nod from the International Monetary Fund, is the kind of seismic policy shift that history books mark as a turning point. For decades, the global oil trade has been the exclusive domain of the US dollar, a system that granted America unparalleled financial hegemony and left emerging economies tethered to its monetary policy. But Iraq, a nation long defined by conflict and instability, is now executing a masterstroke of financial engineering that could shatter that decades-old paradigm. Imagine a world where you can buy a barrel of Iraqi oil not just with dollars but with Iraqi dinar, and at a pre-agreed significantly stronger value for that dinar. This is no longer a theoretical exercise. It is happening right now in closed-door high-value transactions for infrastructure projects and select international trade deals. This contract rate is the secret key, the internal benchmark that allows Iraq to test the waters of a revalued currency without immediately exposing it to the volatile public Forex markets. Think of it as a dress rehearsal for the main performance on the global stage. The brilliance of this move lies in its controlled, deliberate nature. It's not a reckless leap but a calculated step, allowing the government and its international partners to build confidence in the new system, to iron out any kinks, and to prove to a skeptical world that the Iraqi dinar is ready to stand on its own 2 feet. This is about currency sovereignty in its purest form. It's a nation declaring that it will no longer allow its economic destiny to be entirely dictated by the exchange rate of another country's currency. The implications are staggering. For the first time since the era of sanctions, Iraq is not just talking about financial independence, it is architecting it from the inside out. This new framework creates a parallel financial reality where the dinar operates at its true, perceived strength, backed by the nation's vast oil wealth and growing economic stability, completely separate from the rate your everyday citizen sees at the local money changer. This divergence is intentional. It's a protective measure, a firewall to prevent capital flight and speculative attacks while the new system proves its worth. And prove its worth it must because the entire world is watching. Major Tier 1 banks in Europe and North America have already begun the quiet yet monumental task of updating their digital infrastructure to accommodate this new contract rate classification for the Iraqi dinar. Banks do not spend millions on system upgrades for a mere rumor. They do it in anticipation of a concrete imminent change in the global financial landscape. They are literally building the digital rails upon which a revalued dinar will travel into the mainstream global economy. This behind-the-scenes activity is the most telling sign of all. It signifies that the smart money, the institutional giants who move global capital, are not just observing Iraq's experiment. They are actively preparing to participate in it. This is the moment you need to understand. The calm before the storm. The pieces are being moved into place on the global chessboard, and Iraq just made its most powerful move yet. Now let's pull back the curtain on the real engine driving this transformation. A complete overhaul of Iraq's monetary system centered on unprecedented digital transparency. The dual-rate model is the headline, but the digital dinar initiative is the bedrock that makes it all possible. For a currency to be strong, it must first be trustworthy. And for decades, the Iraqi dinar was plagued by a rampant black market that distorted its true value and fostered corruption. That era is now officially over. The Central Bank of Iraq, with technical support from the IMF, has rolled out a state-of-the-art, blockchain-inspired digital compliance system that tracks every single dinar note, every electronic transfer, and every cross-border payment. This isn't just an upgrade. It's a revolution in monetary oversight. Imagine a world where the journey of every currency unit, from the central bank vault to a merchant's hand, is recorded on a secure, immutable ledger. This system eliminates the shadows where black market dealers once thrived. It ensures that the dinar used in these new high-value contract rate transactions is clean, traceable, and legitimate. This digital leapfrog is what gives international partners the confidence to engage with Iraq on this new level. They are no longer dealing with an opaque, cash-heavy economy vulnerable to manipulation. They are interacting with a modernizing financial system that meets global anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing standards. This legitimacy is the golden ticket Iraq needed. It's the foundation upon which the entire revaluation house is being built. Without this level of transparency, the contract rate would be viewed as just another speculative tool, easily corrupted and dismissed by the international community. But with it, the dinar begins to shed its risky reputation and transforms into a viable, modern asset. This digital transformation also directly empowers the Iraqi people. As the system matures, it paves the way for greater financial inclusion, reducing the reliance on physical cash and bringing more citizens into the formal banking sector. This creates a more stable and resilient domestic economy, which in turn reinforces the strength of the currency. It's a virtuous cycle. Digital trust begets international confidence, which begets a stronger currency, which begets a healthier domestic economy. Furthermore, this digital trail provides the Central Bank of Iraq with real-time, granular data on monetary flow, allowing for precision-guided monetary policy that was previously impossible. They can now see exactly how money is moving, where it's accumulating and where it's needed, enabling them to manage inflation and stimulate growth with a surgeon's touch rather than a sledgehammer. This level of sophisticated economic management is what the IMF looks for when it gives its blessing to a major reform like the dual rate system. The IMF's quiet support is not merely ideological. It's a technical endorsement based on hard data and verified systems. It signals to the world that Iraq has crossed a crucial threshold of monetary governance. The nation is no longer just a petrostate. It is an emerging digital economy, with a currency poised for integration into the global digital payment matrix. This aligns perfectly with a global trend where central banks worldwide are exploring digital currencies. Iraq, surprisingly to some, is positioning itself at the forefront of this movement in the Middle East. The final and most critical piece of this puzzle brings us back to Iraq's most powerful asset, oil. The petrodollar system, established in the 1970s, has been the cornerstone of American financial dominance and the primary reason for the US dollar's status as the world's reserve currency. For 50 years, it was an unshakable reality. But today, that reality is being challenged not by a superpower but by a nation reclaiming its economic sovereignty. Iraq has begun in a limited but profoundly significant capacity to settle select oil and energy agreements directly in dinar, utilizing the new, stronger contract rate. This is the ultimate endgame of the entire reform process. This move goes far beyond mere currency adjustment. It is a direct and deliberate pivot away from the exclusivity of the petrodollar. When a nation as oil-rich as Iraq decides to invoice even a portion of its most valuable exports in its own currency, it creates a direct, tangible, and escalating demand for that currency on the international stage. This isn't theoretical demand from Forex speculators. It is hard, non-negotiable demand from energy importers who need to acquire dinar to pay their bills. This creates a structural bid for the dinar that did not exist before, anchoring its value not in sentiment, but in the concrete reality of global energy needs. This single action has a domino effect that ripples across the entire global economic landscape. It provides a blueprint, a dangerous one from the perspective of dollar hegemony, for other resource-rich nations to follow. If Iraq can successfully pull this off, what is to stop other nations from seeking similar monetary independence? The potential for a multipolar currency world, once a fringe economic theory, is now knocking on the door. The US dollar would no longer be the sole mandatory medium for global energy trade, which would fundamentally alter global capital flows, interest rates, and geopolitical alliances. For Iraq, the benefits are transformative. By selling oil for dinar, it instantly strengthens its own currency's international standing and reduces its exposure to dollar volatility and US foreign policy. It reclaims a portion of the exorbitant privilege that has long been enjoyed by the United States. The revenue from these dinar-denominated oil sales, held at the stronger contract rate, massively boosts the government's purchasing power for imports and international debt repayment. It would allow Iraq to rebuild its infrastructure and economy without being solely dependent on the flow of dollars, which can be restricted or sanctioned. This is the ultimate declaration of financial independence. The timing of this is also impeccable. The global world order is shifting. and many nations are actively seeking alternatives to a dollar-centric system. Iraq's move, therefore, is not happening in a vacuum. It is aligning with a broader global desire for diversification. The country is positioning itself not as a rebel, but as a pioneer, offering a viable, tested model for how a resource-rich economy can step out of the dollar's shadow. The convergence of high oil prices, robust digital oversight, IMF-backed reforms, and now this direct challenge to the petrodollar creates a perfect storm for a currency revaluation. All the elements are present: strong fundamentals, external validation, internal stability, and now, a clear mechanism for creating sustained international demand. This is no longer a question of if, but when, and how significantly the dinar will revalue. The shockwave announced in the headlines is now morphing into a permanent tidal change. The global Forex market is on the cusp of welcoming a new major player, born from the ashes of conflict and engineered through digital innovation and raw economic power. This is the financial story of the decade, and you are witnessing it in real time. The journey from a sanctioned, isolated currency to a globally traded oil-backed asset is reaching its climax. The world of finance will look different tomorrow because of what is happening in Iraq today. Now here is my final call to action for you. Do not be a passive observer of history. Become an active participant in your own financial literacy. This channel is dedicated to bringing you these complex stories with clarity and depth, cutting through the noise to deliver the original information you need. If this analysis has opened your eyes to the real forces shaping our world, then you need to be here for what comes next. So take action right now. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Smash the like button to support this original research. Ring the bell so you don't miss a single update. And most importantly, share this video with everyone you know. The conversation about the future of global finance is happening now, and your voice, your understanding, and your awareness are crucial. Let's navigate this new world together.